The 4-year terms of several Memphis Shelby County School Board members could be shortened depending on the upcoming vote by the Shelby County Commission. After narrowly dodging a state takeover, county commissioners are considering putting all school board seats on the ballot for 2026. Through a proposed ordinance that would reduce the 4-year terms of 5 board members, all of whom were just elected last year. Joining us now to talk more about what's at stake as well as other matters are Natalie McKinney and Tamarcus Porter, and we welcome both of you to WREG News at 3. How have you been?
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Good.
Well.
Wanted to first of all ask you about what the county commission is considering, putting all of these MSCS board races possibly on the ballot for 2026. Is this fair? What are your thoughts on it?
First, I want to let you know the governor has not signed the law yet, so I'm not sure it's coming up yet. But if it does come up, I think we really need to think about the larger implications.
Which would be?
Which is, if you don't have staggering any longer, that means you put all 9 members of the board up every 4 years. That leads us to inconsistency, possibly inconsistency. And if you have that kind of turnover every 4 years, potentially, that means we lose a lot of institutional knowledge, and that can set back a administration, and it can set back progress.
Mr. Porter, there's so much talk about this already, so much speculation about what could happen, what the county commission may or may not do. How could this impact you, and what are your thoughts going into it?
Well, I echo my colleague, Ms. McKinney, because when you lose leadership and you lose the voice of the people, and I ran for school board, I ran to complete a full 4-year term, and so those are the things that we have to talk about. And I wish the county commission can put a referendum together, because when they was running, well, in '94, they put the question on the ballot to ask the voters, hey, do you want to recall, or will you actually want to need term limits? So I think that happened around '94. So I understand the county commission, their alignment. They want to align with their elections and the possibility of spending more money, but definitely will be against it.
But you see this as being very unfair, I take it.
It is unfair. Like I said, I ran to complete a full 4-year term and to advocate for the voices of my community. Let's
move on now. Let's also talk about the budget that I know you folks are beginning to look at. A proposed $1.85 billion budget. You're also dealing with Department of Education cuts possibly as well.
Right.
How do you deal with this?
Good question. You have an answer for that?
No, I wish I did. Otherwise, I'd be on the school board.
We have a fund balance, but I want to let people know that fund balance it's about $200 million. We're required by state to keep a certain minimum in that fund balance. Now, where the thing that we're told to act responsibly and fiscally, we don't use those for recurring. It's just for special projects and things like that. So this year, our biggest issue is that $55 million that those ESSER funds that got pulled back. Right. That is our biggest issue.
Could this hurt a lot of people?
Not right away, but I think if you look down the line, if we have to keep tapping into our budget or our fund balance, pretty soon you don't have anything else to tap into, and we are not a revenue generating entity.
Mr. Porter, we're talking about addressing issues like special education assistance, money towards new textbooks, money spent to fill classroom vacancies, just to name a few. Where does this money need to go, you think?
Well, it definitely needs to go directly to the classroom and whatever best supports students. I'm a former teacher assistant. That's how I actually started in the school system. So those teacher assistants are definitely valuable within the classroom. There's a conversation that's been had around the board as to whether we have physical textbooks, electronic textbooks. So those are conversations around that, but definitely we need to look at money towards upgrading our facilities as well.
We're also talking about another issue that a lot of people are impacted by or could be either selling, leasing, donating, demolishing Memphis Shelby County school buildings.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of us, we're very territorial. We don't want to lose that building even if it's not being used.
Right.
How do you view this?
I think one of the things that we're doing, we want to make sure that we're bringing the community into that. And so the board has been very specific about that. We did the resolution saying we want community to be involved in it. We were very clear about we want them educated about what the status of our facilities are. Then we want them to take part in how do we prioritize what buildings we do, what we do with what buildings. And I think the superintendent's taking a wonderful approach at this, is looking at his feeder patterns, or I like to call them our campuses, right? We have a lot of buildings that are you have your K through 12 sitting right there.
Right.
And so how do we use those buildings and leverage that to our benefit for our community?
Mr. Porter, you know it's a tough pill for a lot of people to swallow if you have to get rid of a building or in your community. What do you say?
So as you stated, buildings are connected with stories. And I'm from Orange Mound, so every time we ride past the old Melrose High School, people have stories. So I am grateful to the city of Memphis to actually invest into the old Orange Mound. So now they have a beautiful library, and I think apartments will be coming on top of that. But we definitely have to communicate to the public and say, hey, you know, we might have to close this building down, but look at a more beautiful structure that we can have for our neighborhood schools. And one of my objectives is to help build safer schools and just safer schools, you have safer communities.
One last thing, Ms. McKinney, how do you feel the current school board is reacting to the interim superintendent these days? What's the rapport like?
I think it's wonderful. We're working well together. He's very responsive to our questions. He's very responsive to the things that we're asking him to do. He's setting very clear goals, very clear action plan, and very clear performance measures to make sure that we ensure accountability and that we're meeting the district's goals.
Are we going down the right path?
As of right now, we want to have leadership in place to stabilize the district. I do like Interim Superintendent Rod Wishman's 100-day plan. You know, he talks about the 5 A's, academic, I shouldn't even know, academic, athletics, athletics, attendance, attitude,
and arts.
And arts.
Okay.
And exactly right. So, the board feels that we have a plan that we can properly articulate to our constituents.
All right, Mr. Porter, good to see you.
Thank
Ms.
you.
McKinney, good to see you again.
Thank you.
We'd love to have you both back.
No, for sure.
Absolutely.
Let's keep this conversation going.
Absolutely.